Now, in the last class, we had stopped at application of para core. Already, I had told you what is atomic para core. It is additive cum constructive property. The atomic para core are additive properties. So you can add and you can subtract and you can multiply. Similarly, the structural para core is the constructive property where you can see the bounds, you can add the bounds, you can multiply the bounds and the structures and so on. And I had shown you the table last time also about the atomic para core and the structural para core. Atomic para cores can see the values, carbon, hydrogen, oxygen and so on. And similarly, the structural para core will have also the values like 0 and then double bound, triple bound, 3-membered, 5-membered, 6-membered and so on. So by taking these atomic and structural para core, we can decide the structure of the organic compound in the doubtful cases. Now first I am taking a known compound, then we can go for a unknown compound. Here I am taking one known compound. So we'll start with this. Now you can see this is the benzene. And the scientist called the Kekulé, he has given the benzene as C6H6. 6 carbon, 6 hydrogen, and 3 alternative double bonds. 3 alternative double bonds that benzene is having. Now, by using the values what I had shown just now in the table, based on that, we can calculate the para core of the benzene. So here you can see the cursor, 6 carbon, 6 hydrogen plus the 3 double bound and 1 the 6-membered ring. The carbon is 4.8. Already I had shown you in the last chart. This is the 4.8 for the carbon. And then it is 17.1 for the hydrogen. This is a 17.1 for the hydrogen. And this is a 23.2 for the double bond, that is called as ethnic double bond. That is 23.2 value for the ethnic double bond. And then 1 6-membered ring. So the 6-membered ring contribute about the 6.1. Now, if you just multiply that values and then you add, this is what we call as the additive cum constructive property. So, by using the atomic and the structural para core, the benzene para core value will be 207.1. How much it is? It is 207.1. Now, this is based on the atomic and the structural para core. Now, already we had studied the two methods to determine the surface tension of the liquids. One is the drop number method and the second is the drop weight method. By using any one method, we can determine the surface tension of the liquid, and after determining the surface tension, you have to put that in a para core equation and you have to calculate the para core. Okay. So that is what is called as the experimental value. The experimental value is like this. So this is the experimental value. Density of the benzene is 878. Surface tension of benzene is 29.3 dynes per centimeter. The molecular mass or molecular weight of the benzene is 78 based on the atomic masses of the carbon and the hydrogen. Carbon is 12, hydrogen is 1, 72 plus 6, and it is 70 each. So, experimental value of the paracore by using this equation. Last time I told you this is an important equation. M gamma raised to 1 by 4 by D, where M is the molecular mass, gamma is the surface tension, and D is the density of the liquid. By putting that value, you can see that the experimental value is 206.7. 206.7. The calculated value is 207.1 and experimental value is 206.7. So both values are very close to one another. They agree each other, and hence what the structure the given by the calculate for the benzene having the 6 carbon, 6 hydrogen, and the 3 alternative double bond and a 6-member ring is a perfect structure or a correct structure for the benzene. So in this way, we can confirm the structure of any organic compound in doubtful cases. Okay, now we can go to one unknown compound. Now this is the second compound. So this is the structure of the quinone. There are two structures are there. The molecular formula is C6H4O2. The structure 1 and the structure 2. If you can see on the screen, structure 1 and structure 2. Anybody can tell me which is the correct structure? Structure 1 is correct or structure 2 is correct? Just on your mic and just tell me.
Sir, structure 2.
First structure is correct structure. Okay. The second structure is not correct. Okay. Now, how to confirm that? How to confirm that the structure is the correct structure or not, and that we can once again doing the same procedure. What just I had told you the procedure, the same procedure we have to do, that we have to calculate the paracore by using the atomic and the structural paracore by the formula method. Now, if you just take the first structure, it is having what is called as the ketonic group, carbon double bond group, that's ketonic, 2 ketonic group, 2 double bond, and 1 6-membered ring. And how many carbon? It is having the 6 carbon, 6 hydrogen, 4 hydrogen and 3 oxygen. Now let's see that. Now this is the paracore for the quinone according to the structure 1. It is calculated and you can see that value is 236.1. And for the second structure, the calculated value is also calculated in the same way as I said that 6 carbon, 4 hydrogen, 2 oxygen. Here 4 double bond he has taken, okay, and 1 what is called as 6-membered ring. 6-membered ring. Now, here also, based on the structure, this is the structure here. Okay, here the structure is like this structure. Now, there are only 3 double bond, ethnic double bond it is, ethnic double bond. and 2 oxygen and the 4 hydrogen and 6 carbon. Okay, that is the same for the structure 2. 6 carbon, 4 hydrogen, 2 oxygen, 3 ethnic double bond and a 6-membered ring. Here there are 2. Total calculation value is 219. For the structure 1, the value is 236 and for the second it is 219. Now, by using the experimental value, by using the experiment, okay, experiment by using the formula as I have said in the first case, by using the formula and by calculating, by determining the surface tension and by calculating the para force, you can see that value is 236.8. Now, this value is close to the structure 1 or structure 2? Anyone can reply?
Structure 1.
Structure 1, very good. So, naturally, the structure 2 is not the right structure for the quinone. Okay, this is the correct structure because the values are very close to each other or are agree each other, whereas for the structure 2, there is a large difference or large variation in the values. And because of that reason, the structure 1 is the correct structure for the quinone, whereas the structure 2 is not the correct structure. But actually, there is nothing wrong in both the structure, keep it in mind. There's nothing wrong in both the structure in terms of bond, in terms of valency theory, okay, everything it is perfect, but the correct structure is the structure 1. So in this way, in the doubtful cases, we can decide the correct structure of organic compound by using or by studying the surface tension in the form of the para force. In the form of the para force. So this is a application of the para force. Now here, one characteristic property of the liquid ends, that is the surface tension, and the supporting property, the second related to the surface tension, what we have studied is the para force. So we'll go to the second, the characteristic property of the liquid, which mainly depend on the forces, the nature and the magnitude of the intermolecular forces of attraction. And that is called as the viscosity. Viscosity simply determines the viscous nature. Viscous nature. You can see in the figure, there are 5 different liquids are there. Okay. The first liquid flow very easily. The second liquid flow a little slow. Third, still slow. Fourth, not at all, almost not coming out. The fifth, almost is not. Though these all are liquid, there are large difference in the movement, the flowing capacity. And this is what determines the viscosity of the liquids. If the viscosity is less, the liquid moves readily. If the viscosity is high, it moves slowly. So, the viscosity in terms we can say depend on the viscous nature of the liquid. Now, to explain what exactly the viscosity, it was believed that in the liquid flow, I think you know it is a general characteristic of the liquid that it flow. It flow from the upper level to the lower level always. Always it flows from a higher level to the lower level. When the liquid moves from the upper to the lower, Each move in the form of layers. You can see that this is the liquid which is allowed to flow through a capillary or a narrow tube. When it is allowed to flow through a capillary, these liquid layers are moving in the form of what is called as the layers. Hence, one layer tries to resist the movement of the another layer. Similarly, the another layer try to stop or resist the movement of the next layer, and so on. And because of this resistance, and that is what is called as the molecules are so close to one another and they are moving in the form of layers. So layers are touch one another, and hence there is a force of friction is existing when the molecules of the liquid moves from one place to the another or one side to the another side. So based on that, the theory is explained that the resistance that one part of the liquid flowing with one velocity offered to the another part of the liquid flowing with a different velocity is known as the viscosity. This is the resistance that one part of the liquid is flowing with one velocity and another part of the liquid flowing with a different velocity, and this is because of what is called as the tangential friction between the layers, or the liquid, one layer try to resist the flow of the another layer. This is generally we called as the viscosity. Now suppose a cylindrical liquid layer of area A moves over the another similar layer at a distance of s with a velocity u. Then the tangential force of friction F is given by the equation. The F is directly proportional to AU by area into velocity divided by the distance, where this proportionality sign is replaced by a constant called as eta. This is the sign eta. This is the eta. F is equal to eta into AU bar S. And this eta we called as the coefficient of viscosity. Okay. But in general, for all practical purpose, every time referring the word called as coefficient of viscosity is not that easy. Therefore, generally we call as the viscosity. And this is, if you see the cursor, that this is eta and this is expressed as, or it is called as the coefficient of viscosity. Now, once again, here also, as I said, definition they are asking. The explanation is only for your reference to know what is the viscosity. But of course, the definition is important. For 2 marks, the definition will be asked. So how the viscosity or the coefficient of viscosity, both are same, keep it in mind, can be defined. It is defined based on this equation, remember, based on this equation. The coefficient of viscosity of a liquid may be defined as force in dynes. This is the force in dynes per square centimeter required to maintain a difference of velocity of 1 centimeter per second between the two parallel layers of the liquid held at a distance of 1 centimeter from one another. This is what is called as the definition of the viscosity. The coefficient of viscosity of a liquid. Once again, we can say that the coefficient of viscosity of a liquid may be defined as force in dynes per square centimeter required to maintain a distance of velocity of 1 centimeter per second between the two parallel layers of the liquid held at a distance of 1 centimeter from one another. So this is the definition of the coefficient of viscosity. And for point of examination is concerned, the definition is important. 2 marks definition they will ask. This is for the important part. Now, the unit for viscosity. Now, eta, which is equal to S, F divided by A into U, that is dynes into centimeter into second divided by centimeter square into centimeter, depend on that value I had just put. The force in dynes per centimeter square, S is the distance, area of cross section, and the velocity. And this is equal to the dynes into seconds into centimeter per centimeter square. This is what we call as the unit for the viscosity, but the unit is expressed in terms of poise. This is called as poise. Anybody know why it is called as poise? The viscosity of any liquid is expressed in terms of poise. It is not generally always expressed as poise. Sometimes it is expressed dynes seconds per square centimeter also, but generally it is expressed in terms of poise, because this is the name of the scientist called Poiseuille. Earlier it was there in the syllabus, Poiseuille's law and the derivation, etc. Now this part is not there. This is the name of the scientist who has given the viscosity as a characteristic property of the liquid. And later, his name has given to the unit of the viscosity as the poise. It is a Poiseuille. He is the name of the scientist who has given that property of the liquid as a viscosity, and hence his name has given in the short form. Not complete Poiseuille, we are not called as Poiseuille, but we called as unit as poise based on his name, the scientist. So that is about the viscosity. I'm just taking a little part of the next. Now, effect of temperature on the viscosity. Effect of temperature on viscosity. In the last class also I had told you effect of temperature on surface tension. These both are important. Once again, as the temperature increases, the intermolecular force decreases because the kinetic energy increases. And here also the same case, as the temperature increases, the kinetic energy of the molecule increases, the intermolecular forces between the liquid molecules decreases, so these forces decreases. It was believed that, particularly in case of viscosity, the viscosity of the liquid decreases with rising temperature. The decrease is from 1 to 2% per degree rising temperature. So, as the temperature increases, the viscosity decreases. The decrease in the viscosity is 1 to 2% per degree rising temperature. So, as you increase more and more, the viscosity of the liquid will go down or decrease in the same ratio. So, therefore, in general, it was observed that the decrease rate of the viscosity with effect of temperature is 1 to 2% per degree rise in temperature. Now, here we have to derive an equation for this. This is based on the Arrhenius equation. Okay, so it is not that clear, little. Okay, it is not that clear one anyway. Eta, that is a viscosity which is equal to A into exponential term, that is e raised to B upon RT. B upon RT. Okay, B upon RT. Where A and B are the constant for the liquid and sorry, the T is the absolute temperature. The above equation may be written as like this. If you take the log on both sides, the log on both the sides, then it is log eta is equal to log A plus B upon RT. Now this is a straight line equation. This equation, okay, this is the equation, is a straight line equation, and hence if you just draw what is called as a graph, that is if you just plot a graph, the log eta versus 1 by t, you are getting a straight line. And by using that, you are in a position to calculate the constant A as well as the constant B, because your R is constant, that is a gas constant. So this is a straight line equation, and I think everybody know what is called as the straight line equation. Y is equal to mx plus c. So here y is the log eta. Okay, here x is 1 by t and m is b by r, and c is log a. Log a is c. Is the intersect. The intersect, and b by r is a slope. So by taking the intersect and by taking the slope, now it is possible to calculate the constant called the A and B by using this equation. So this is what is called as the effect of temperature on the viscosity of the liquid. Now I'll stop here. We will continue in the next class. That is